my sister, she was like, she's done lots of things, but she was a singer, and she was doing like actual singing lessons and stuff for a while. So it would always drive me wild because she'd always be walking around the house just doing her like vocal exercises, and I'd always hear her doing. This is one that always stuck with me. It was the me 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 me, and then she goes up a bit. Me, 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 me. And by the time she's doing those real high ones, I'm like, oh, we can stop.
See, you did that and my brain just went, yeah, this sounds like Sister Act.
Yeah, but that's my sister acting up.
There we are.
Anything.
Welcome to episode 12 of Game Surgeons Podcast, a podcast series where we dissect video game mechanics and the ways they interact and intersect with both each other and with the narrative being told. My name is not Shane, it's Kyle.
Yeah, I was going to say the notes say Shane.
Yeah, and I am here with...
Shane, not Kyle.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing this fine evening?
Oh, look, I've been better, but it's getting there, it's getting there. I think there's still a little bit of a croak in my voice.
You don't sound too sick, which is good.
Yeah, this is good. So it's actually been a while since Shane and I saw each other because between his family getting sick and then me getting sick, it's just been like,
It's been a bit tricky, but it's, I think there's a few people in the world that have been getting sick lately, so I think that we all get a pass for that.
Oh, I haven't heard of it.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Tell me more.
Oh, it's a niche thing.
Okay, fair enough. So given how long it's been, we probably shouldn't go over everything, but what have you been playing?
This is going to be shocking, but not much.
What?
So, okay, this was a weird case. So last time we spoke, I was playing Tunic. That was one of the games I was playing. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this is really good. I finished it, and I was blown away by it. I think Tunic is phenomenal. Definitely not for everyone, but it scratched that itch perfectly for me. And it had this weird effect how it made every other game bad. It was like so damn good that I couldn't get motivated to play anything else. I'd start a few things up here and there, and I'm just like, oh, it's not Tunic. It's not the Tunic level.
Oh, man.
So I haven't been playing much because I played a game that was so damn good that it made all the other games bad.
You ruined games for yourself.
I did ruin games for myself.
One day we're going to, choose Tunic.
Yeah.
And I'm going to not like it.
I reckon you'd hate it.
Yeah.
I reckon you'd really
Well, I think part of the problem is that I know the reasons why people like it.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to go ahead and press those buttons anyway just to see what will happen, right?
But I think it's brilliant. I think the game is absolutely brilliant. I think that I did almost all of it without a guide, and I'm so proud of myself.
Well, except for the one that's literally in the game.
Oh, yes. That is the literal instruction manual guide in the game. But I figured out the golden path, which is the ultimate final secret ending type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I figured it out by myself, and it was, I kid you not, myself with my 5-year-old and my 8-year-old, and the three of us all working together, pulling out the pen and paper, working as a collaborative unit because they were seeing things that I couldn't see. It's just the way that they see the world is differently to me.
Yeah.
So they were legitimately helping me. And the moment that we put it all together and it worked, it was just legitimately one of the most satisfying puzzles I've ever finished in gaming.
That's actually pretty awesome.
Damn good.
That is pretty damn awesome. Hopefully that's something that they remember too.
I hope so, because I was losing it. Daddy's getting awfully animated right now.
Oh my gosh.
Well, what have you been playing?
A few things, actually. Things that I've gone back to, essentially. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that, I was playing Returnal again. So I got super stuck, stopped playing it again, came back to it this past week and just blew through most of it. Don't get me wrong, still made a stupid mistake not too long before the end, and now I'm back at the beginning. Well,
so you didn't
back at the halfway point, I should say.
Section.
Yes, yeah.
But you didn't finish it. But you got mighty close.
I finished the first playthrough.
Oh, okay. It's one of those cases.
Well, it's
one of those games that can be infinite, but that's not what you're
talking about. No, not that. No.
Yeah, that's not what you're talking about.
spoiler talk. When you finish the game, when you finish the third biome in Returnal, you escape off of the planet, and you get a cutscene with the main character. I think her name is Celine. I can't remember. Living out her life.
Yeah, cool.
And then she dies as an old lady.
Oh.
And wakes up again on the planet. And time has clearly passed.
Yeah.
Like 100 years.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really, she can't escape the cycle.
She cannot escape the cycle.
Wow.
And like the area is clearly the area you were in before.
Yeah.
But because so much time has passed, the biome is completely different.
Yeah.
And they do that again for the next biome.
That's cool.
Yeah. It is actually pretty damn awesome.
That's one of those things that it's a good like gotcha moment. It's clever. It like work. It pushes through with the story. Like it gives you a story moment, but also gives you like a gameplay moment as well. Those are so rare to find that perfect concoction. That's
exactly.
Awesome.
It is so good. And like I'm curious to see where it ends because damn, I'm like really keen for this ending. Because yeah, obviously that means time has been passing the entire time.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just she keeps waking up.
Yeah.
From death. So yeah, I am like so keen to actually finish it, but like since that good run, I've had nothing but bad runs, beating my head against the wall again. So I'll go back to that in like a week or so. Fingers crossed. Hopefully it's good again. And other than that, I've gone back to a classic. I played Final Fantasy X again.
Yes.
Not the entire way through. I'm just listening to a book club style podcast and want to keep up with it.
When did it come out? Was that 2002?
Yeah, that sounds about right. It might have been 2000. I have this feeling that like Square Enix released 97, 98, 99, 2000.
When did the PS2 come out?
2000.
That was 2000.
Yeah, I think FF10 was a release game.
Really?
Yeah, hang on. Let me just...
No, maybe not release, but maybe release window.
Window, yeah.
Because when I think about the PS2 release, I'm thinking about like, Fantavision, the one with that fireworks game.
I don't know what that is at all. I assume Ratchet and Clank.
I think it was one of those like slim pickings type of launches. But then it like popped off. It became like amazing.
Yeah.
Like pretty soon after. I saw, man, I can't remember what it was, but I saw one year lineup. And it's like Ico and GTA 3, and it's like this incredible like Metal Gear Solid 2. It's like literally like a best of the best, and it all came out in a single year in the PS2. Insane.
To be fair, Nintendo has had that year twice.
Yeah,
hopefully that's this year.
Well, what years are you thinking?
So the Breath of the Wild year.
That was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
pardon the pun.
I don't think it's a pun when you use the same word.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really count. I remember people were saying that like, oh, the Switch Year 1 lineup looks so weak. And then it ended up being like, literally like Breath of the Wild,
Super Mario Odyssey,
8 Deluxe, Odyssey, Xenoblade, Splatoon, which we're going to talk about today.
What? Are we?
And that's like, those are the big ones. And then there's all these like mid ones like ARMS and whatever, which were like, still really solid that like bulked out the year.
Yeah. Like when you look at what year 2 was, basically Nintendo was relying on Smash for year 2 entirely.
Which is kind of awkward when it came out in late December. It's like, oof.
So having looked at it, North American release December 2001. So it was 2002 essentially.
Yeah.
PS2 itself was released. Okay, cool. October 2000 for North America. So technically outside the release window as well because it's just outside of year 1.
I don't. Do you remember the PS2 launch? I don't remember the PS2 launch at all.
I was too young. I honestly. So, oh my gosh, we got it so late. Oh no, that's the slim line. Okay.
Because we were like grade 6-ish.
Grade 5. Year 5.
Yeah, grade 5. Because some of my friends had a PS1, and I remember that, but I never remember the PS2. Like,
yeah, I do not remember anything about the PS2 launch.
No, and I read I was like reading gaming. I was like reading Hyper magazine. You know, I was kind of somewhat in gaming media. So I'm surprised I didn't know about that one.
I genuinely don't know how I missed it either. Like, it was just a thing.
It just happened.
Yeah.
But I remember the GameCube. Like, I was so hyped for the GameCube.
You?
And I remember the Xbox as well, which is so weird. Why do I remember that stuff? I remember the Dreamcast. I remember the Xbox and the GameCube. I don't remember the PS2. And I don't remember my first experience with a PS2. It was just
so
like
strange.
there one day.
Actually, I wonder what year I ended up getting mine.
Yeah, because you got the PS3, like, was it
launch day?
Literally launch day?
Yeah, mistake.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was like $1,000.
Yes,
wasn't it? That's crazy, man.
It was my own money, and I was in high school, so I didn't have anything else to spend it on.
It was that sweet spot where we were working, like, you know, for some of the first times, and like, you know, earn money for the first time, and being like, hell yeah, let's spend some money.
And now I'm like several tens of thousands of dollars in debt again.
Yeah.
So
all because of that one PlayStation.
All because of that one PlayStation. Damn you, Sony! Damn you!
Do you remember? This is a really niche moment. I don't know if this is something that like everyone carries with them, but do you remember the moment when you started getting money, like, you know, pocket money or like working money or whatever, and you realized you could buy candy, and candy just suddenly lost a lot of its appeal? Is that a moment normal people have? Because that's something that I remember. I remember when I started getting pocket money and I was like, I can buy candy with this. I bought it once and then I was like, this isn't fun anymore. Like, candy lost its grip on me.
I don't know. I have a sweet tooth. Like
so did I for ages, but
I still do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think
that's why you're in debt.
Yeah. It's not gonna lie. Maybe a little bit.
Open up the fridge and it's just nothing but chocolate bars inside.
I am vegan, sir. Thank you.
Vegan chocolate?
Oh, vegan chocolate's terrible.
Oh, I imagine.
It's just awful.
I imagine it would taste like chalk.
No, worse than that. It's
worse than chalk.
It's bitter.
Because
it's dark chocolate essentially. Yeah, it's not great.
Which dark chocolate isn't even chocolate. It doesn't have cocoa in it, so it's not.
Yeah, it does.
Dark chocolate. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it doesn't have milk.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking white chocolate.
Yeah,
no, I'm thinking
white chocolate.
No, it's the other way. It's the other way. Yeah, white chocolate isn't chocolate.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. Why is it called white chocolate?
Yeah, but we'll argue about whether vegan meat can be called meat or not.
Yeah, it's like meat substitute.
Yes.
Meat standard.
Yeah, but butchers and not butchers, but like meat producers will
it's not meat.
Argue it shouldn't be allowed to be advertised as meat. Well, why do we have white chocolate?
Yeah, that's weird. I never really thought about that. But it's like not meat.
Yeah.
I can call it like vegan meat, but in my mind I'm like, this is the wrong name straight up.
It's much the muchness, isn't it?
Yeah, much the muchness indeed.
Meat is a word. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like it's Anyways,
and that's why you've been playing Final Fantasy X.
That's why I've been playing Final Fantasy X. No, I enjoy it so much. I forgot how good of a Final Fantasy game it is. Like, legitimately. I can go back and play Final Fantasy VIII and go, oh my god, I hate this. The story's okay, but like the systems, oh my god, what were they thinking? And things like that. I can go back and play 9 and get nostalgia, but have my eyes burned out by pixels the size of Nintendo Switch. But like, 10, it's pretty. It's voice acted well. It doesn't quite have the open world feel that like earlier Final Fantasies did. You can't just like go to the world map and go, damn, I can go anywhere. But like it has that journey. Like it has a proper hero's journey. And I think people probably undersell it when everyone's arguing over whether 6 or 7 is better. Like, guys, 9 and 10.
Because there's a lot of love for 10 still. I'm under the impression a lot of people like really fondly really enjoy 10. Or those that like played it. Because, again, this is 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think, well, oh my gosh, it's 20 years ago. I think probably most people don't consider it the classic Final Fantasy stuff, though. And that's why it's left over out of those conversations.
Yeah, so. It's kind of like on an island. It's kind of like in between everything.
Yeah.
When did you play it originally?
That's a great question. I actually don't know.
Like, I guess not launch.
No, definitely not launch. I was poor. I didn't have launch PS2 or launch games.
True.
I know I had Final Fantasy X-2 not long after launch.
Okay.
But I don't remember when I played 10.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I do remember finishing Final Fantasy X for the first time, basically as I had to leave to go to work, and having to turn off the PS2 and beat the game again after I got home to actually watch the ending cutscene.
Oh, yeah.
Which ruined a little bit of the experience, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Gosh,
I'm glad that we have more quality of life options.
I know, right?
These days.
PlayStation button.
Yeah. I remember there was this like big era where you didn't know if a cutscene was playing, you didn't know if you press the start button
whether it would skip it or pause.
Yeah. It was so scary.
Yeah. And now we've got the ones where you press any button and it's just like, no, you need to hold this one.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Man, the amount of quality of life stuff out there now is like stupendous. I love it.
So much better.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
I actually really like a lot of modern games. They're very, like, as soon as you start it up, the first thing that comes up, like even before the menu or any, like the title screen, just like accessibility menu. It's like, what do you want to tweak? And then you can like just get started. I think that's great.
Does it do that for all the Xbox games?
A lot of them.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it did for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Interesting.
It does for Halo Infinite now because I like reinstalled it recently.
I don't know whether maybe it's a setting I've turned off on PlayStation because Sony like encourages all the accessibility stuff anyway. But I know there is a system settings thing so that games will automatically default to what you've set in the system for those accessibility options.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's so good.
It saves me having to turn subtitles on
every single time.
But legit, that's the first thing I do.
Every
I start
time.
the game, I'm like, oh, cool menu, cool title screen, go straight to options, and I'm just like, is this under general gameplay? Is this audio or is this video? Because it kind of just jumps between the three sometimes.
I've never seen it in video.
I've seen it in video once, and I'm just like, why? Why is this here? It doesn't make sense.
I mean, it's a visual thing, I guess.
I don't know. Subtitles, please.
Yes. Always on. Always on. Default to on.
Always on.
And someone has to turn it off if they don't want it. Like, I can guarantee you that's way more frequent.
I'm one of those annoying guys that like always watches movies with subtitles.
Yeah, same.
So when I go to the cinema, it's so weird. It's so weird because I'm just like, I can't. Like, what
did he say?
I have to adjust my brain. I have to just listen, not listen read.
Wait, I actually have to listen?
Yeah. Gosh, that's
gosh. What was the last thing you saw at cinemas?
The Batman.
Yeah, okay. Probably me too. Yeah.
The audio mixing of that was pretty good. I saw Encanto at the cinemas, and the cinema that I was in, the audio mixing wasn't great. It was just really loud.
Right.
It's one of those ones, sometimes you go to a cinema and it's just like the volume is just super high for some reason.
Yeah.
And there was like this intro song, which is like really, really clever, which I've come to appreciate a lot. But I could not follow it at all in the movie. I just said to my wife, I was like, can you turn the subtitles on? I can't catch this one.
It should be like an app or something that you can download now.
I don't know. It'll be this like, we'll have some like Black Mirror future where like we have the Google Lens thing on our eyes and we can just automatically turn them on. Maybe I don't want that future.
No, I don't think you do.
I ain't ready for that one yet.
No. All right. Yeah, we should probably...
Let's get into the game.
Let's get into the game. So, we're talking about Splatoon 2.
Yeah. There's a lot of overlap between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But today we're just going to talk about 2 and just assume that we're talking about 1
as well, for the most part.
A lot of aspects of it.
Like, there's some new things in Splatoon 2, but like I wouldn't say anything changes the wheel.
Iterative game. Like...
Iterative?
Iterative. Easy for me to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll read the blurb for us. So Splatoon 2 was released in July 2017 in that miraculous first year Switch that we're talking about.
Oh, so good.
And it was released on the Nintendo Switch, obviously. It was developed by Nintendo EPD, which is kind of a cop-out because Nintendo EPD is a very catch-all type of device.
I was about to say, yeah, I feel like that's what
everything.
Ring Fit was as well.
Everything is EPD. Like, you can find like some of the specific members, like the directors and stuff, but yeah, EPD is a very like conglomerate blob.
Is an umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was done by EPD, whomsoever that may be. It plays like a third-person shooter consisting of 4 versus 4 team matches.
Mm-hmm. And like, I think it's interesting that you focus specifically on the multiplayer here because it does have single player.
It does have single player, but it does have not 4v4 modes, which we'll talk about as well.
Oh right, I was like, is there?
Oh yeah, it's the PvE one.
Yeah.
But that's the crux of it. Even like all the variations of like King of the Hill and whatever. That's 4v4.
Yeah,
like that is the bread and butter. What's our experiences with the game and the franchise as a whole?
I mean, I picked this up immediately. I probably haven't put as much time into it as you. I think I'm only like level 14 because like the experience just dies.
Slow,
yeah.
Did you get this in Japan?
No. I didn't have a Switch when I was in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this would have been this would have been really close to when you and I went to Japan.
Maybe.
Yeah, it would have been like.
Has it been 5 years? Oh, it's been 5 years.
Been a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I won't be able to tell you like when exactly we went, but yeah, it was like around then. And I remember there's like a lot of Splatoon merch. Like we went to Tower Records and they had like this.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That is like some of my favorite photos is just the Splatoon things there. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Stop reminiscing about holidays, Shane. We can't take those anymore.
Yeah. Like deviations is what I do on this podcast.
So yeah, I love nearly everything about the game.
Yeah.
From design, in terms of like the fashion that's in the game.
Yeah, the style is awesome.
Yeah, the Splatoon kids, Inklings, Squid or Kid, whatever we want to call them. Yeah, they are so fashionable. I love it so much. I was playing just before we started recording, and I realized they're still adding like items to it. For example, I assume an anklet as a shoe because there were barefooted Inklings running around with little anklets on. Yeah, I
haven't seen that. That sounds terrifying.
It was actually really cute.
Feet. They got some big, like Sora-sized feet.
Sora has normal feet. Didn't you see the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer?
That has answered the question that many people have had. What does his feet look like? So let me show you.
Here it is.
Just big ass shoes, apparently.
It's just big ass shoes. No, he has normal sized shoes now too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world has changed.
I mean, it might be the world that he's in that has instigated the change.
Yeah, he's in the world of normal shoes, not big ass shoes.
He's in Shibuya. They found the apartment, man. Like,
it was pretty normal.
Yeah.
What do you think of the music of Splatoon?
I love it so much.
Because that's very divisive.
Really?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like it?
Oh, trust me, there's a large group of people that really dislike it. But those people, it's very rare to find someone that loves Splatoon but doesn't like the music. It's one of those things that it's like, I'm not into Splatoon and also the music is really weird.
It's chiptune style. Like,
and a fictional language.
I mean, is there language at all? There's,
Well, like some of it is, but it is like the Inkling sisters or whatever they're called, the Squid sisters. Sorry,
right?
Like they sing in Pearl and Marina, if you will. Like they sing, but it's all like fictional language. The mixing of the vocals is pretty low because it's
who cares? Yeah,
but people are just like, oh, it sounds like I put my computer through like a blender or something. That's what I've seen people.
Yes, what's the issue?
I think it's awesome. I love it.
I guess it's like I listen to lo-fi, so like I don't care. You can put any beeps and boops on, and as long as they're rhythmically pleasing, I'm down for it.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and I would go so far to say that the Octo expansion, which was like a single player DLC that they released later on, it has one of the best like Nintendo soundtracks ever. I think I rate that music so highly. I think it's very good.
I wish I didn't suck so bad at it.
It's hard as heck, man.
It is so hard. And then the train pass system, I was just like, dude, let me go to the next level. Don't make me. Yeah. Like having to do the same levels over and over and over again with different weapons just to get enough.
Yeah.
Whatever the currency system was to move on to the next. Yeah. That's what got me on that.
Experimental.
Yeah.
But I'm a similar camp. I love Splatoon. I love the vibe. I love the music. I love the art style, character design, everything. As someone who does not care for shooters at all, and very rarely plays online games, I love Splatoon. It has somehow found its place in my heart. It is the perfect amalgamation.
And yet not on your Switch.
No, because it's too big. my son wanted me. I can't remember what game it was, but he wanted me to. No, that's right. He wanted to get Minecraft Dungeons.
Right.
Yeah, he wanted to get Minecraft Dungeons, and it was like a really big file size. So Splatoon had to go, unfortunately.
Dude, get yourself a micro SD.
I did. I had one, but this is one that I got 5 years ago when it was, unreasonably expensive to get big ones. But now I can get the one that I have for $2 or something. I don't know.
Yes, 256 gig from Samsung, $84.
Yeah, it's a little higher than I'd like.
Yes, that's a Samsung one. That's why.
That's a legit one.
Yeah, like a SanDisk one will be cheaper.
Yeah, I'm living in the SanDisk one.
Yeah, I just went to the first result from non-denominational.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Retailer. Yeah,
yeah. But I love Splatoon. I love Splatoon. My wife plays Splatoon. My 8-year-old plays Splatoon. Family loves it.
And what about the 5-year-old?
He doesn't play many games.
That's yeah.
He plays some phone games, and he's played a bit of Minecraft. And that's about it. Yeah.
As an aside, how is there not a Splatoon tune?
Yeah, like a show type of thing.
Yeah, Saturday morning cartoon show. How does that not exist?
They've got a manga.
Yeah, I know. It's on my bookshelf.
But that's what I mean. It's like they've got that.
So. Yeah, just pull from that.
I'm actually really surprised that they didn't, because we're about to get Splatoon 3. Oh, I say we're about to. I wish. It's like 2 months away at time of recording.
Splatoon 3 is probably the last game I get for the year.
Yeah, but it's kind of baffling that they did Splatoon 1, Splatoon 2, Octo Expansion, and 3, and nothing else in between. I thought for sure we'd have all these Splatoon spin-offs and different genres.
Right.
Or just a match 3 game on mobile with Splatoon flavored, just simple stuff like that, but you don't.
I couldn't see a match 3 thing, but I could see a was it Bubble?
Yes, literally anything.
Yeah, something like that. Because you could have the balls literally.
Yeah, pop.
And it pops and cascades the next lot of the same color.
There was a this is really random, but in Splatoon 2 there's music rhythm section.
Yes, I was in that just before, mainly so I could see if there were sounds that I could nick from that
nice.
For the...
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot that was a thing until recently. Turn that into a 4K.
Do you remember?
It seems odd.
Do you remember in the first Splatoon, and I missed this so much,
These were cool. The games on the gamepad?
Yes.
While it's loading,
yeah.
Doodle jump looking one.
Thank you, Doodle Jump. I'm what was it called?
The Doodle Jump one was fun. There was a couple of others, but I only really remember the
I only played Doodle Jump, and it was just something that happened on the loading screen.
Yeah,
which
have to play it.
I think technically at that point in time may have been illegal.
Yeah, because who was it?
Namco,
yeah, they bloody did a patent on
mini games in loading screens. Yeah.
Don't patent that, man. Share the wealth.
Yeah, it's not going to sell a game to go, well, at least you can do this during a loading screen.
Yeah. Bro, did you hear about this new game? You can play a game in your game while you wait for your game.
Dude, Tekken has Gallagher when it first loads up.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, yes, but it's not going to sell Tekken 5. No one's buying Tekken 5 for Gallagher.
No, they're really not.
Except Chris.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It was. Splatoon is a really interesting franchise. I really thought that they would do, because they've appeared in lots of things. They were in Smash Brothers. They were they were one of the lead new characters.
Well, they were one of the most requested.
Yeah, I would say they were the lead new character before the DLC. And like they were thrown into Mario Kart like as soon as they could.
Yep.
Like Deluxe has literally Splatoon battle maps and stuff.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, which I forget about all the time as well. I'm like, yeah, the Inklings are in it. But yeah, there's no actual like other Splatoon games.
It's
which
baffling.
Yeah. I don't know. There must be a reason. Oh, let's get into it and let's talk about what makes Splatoon 2 so damn great.
Okay, let's do it. Dun, 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 dun. No, okay. Despite all appearances, we're not actually drinking for this episode.
We're just talking about our favorite franchise.
It is really good. Anyway, yeah. So where do you start on this? Do we start with a single player? I know it's like.
Well, let's talk about Turf War. Let's kind of set the stage because there's probably a lot of people that are like, yeah, I've heard of Splatoon, but they don't know what makes it what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So the most basic mechanic we've already mentioned. It's a third-person shooter, 4v4.
Yeah.
Right? What's the goal?
So the goal is, like, most of the time, like, most shooters are like, you have an objective or you have to, like, get the most kills, right?
Yeah.
But with Splatoon, it's different. It's like, when you shoot, all your weapons are like shooting ink.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of a 3-minute round, whichever team has the most ink of, like, their color at the end of it, is the winner.
Covering the stage. Horizontal surfaces only.
Yeah, not vertical. Not vertical. Which isn't too big a thing. But yeah. Which sounds really weird, but like, if your opponent can shoot ink on the ground, you can shoot your ink over there, so it just covers it.
Yeah.
Right? It's so simple. But that really feeds into stage control. Like a lot of shooters are about stage control and space management and that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But with Splatoon, it's like it is literally stage control. You have a visual representation of the stage control as you're playing.
Yes. Interestingly, on the Wii U, so the first Splatoon, you always had that visualization. It was on the gamepad. Yeah. Which I loved. That's great. It's unfortunate that we can't keep doing that on Switch.
Yeah. You can press a button that brings up a map. I can't remember if it actually shows what's being covered.
It does.
It does?
It does,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's not always there. And something I really like is that even when you have that, it's only a visual representation. It's not like a number, or there's no there's no real indicator.
Yeah, you have to like in your brain be like, I think we're winning.
Yeah.
That looks like that's mostly us.
Yeah, and because of the nature of Turf War, like you can be getting like pummeled for like 4/5 of it, but you can mount this amazing comeback and still win at the end. But it still feels fair.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like Mario Kart. It's not like you're getting hit by blue shells on like just before the final lap and you're like, oh, well, I did the perfect race. Why did I lose? Like in Splatoon, if you're losing, there's a reason why you're losing.
It's because your teammates suck at ground coverage.
Because one of your teammates dropped out.
Yeah, AFK.
That's the worst.
Yeah, just awful. Yeah, so horizontal, flat surfaces, that's the thing that you should be aiming for, right?
Yeah.
But you can still shoot your opponents.
You can still shoot your opponents, and you can kill your opponents.
Yes. Well, you can splat.
You shoot them enough that they explode.
They splat.
Yeah, they splat.
They splat.
This is a PG type of game.
Yeah.
People ain't dying here. Yeah. And when they do that, they kind of like splat. They kind of like do this little explosion thing of your color.
In your color, yeah.
Your color.
So there is something of an advantage to actually taking out the enemy.
Yeah, I'd say that the greatest advantage for that isn't that little like explosion thing, but it's the fact that they go on like a 10-second or whatever cooldown.
Yeah.
Where they're just not on the field anymore, and they need to respawn, and they need to like respawn, like go back all the way back to the start.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I find because sometimes like a team can just like get wiped out, like 3-4 members all at once.
I have had that happen very rarely.
Yeah,
and it is devastating.
But when it happens, it's devastating because you lose all of your stage control.
Yeah,
all of it, and you're just pinned back like right at the start again. So your opponents can like push the advantage all the way to your base, and it's like, damn, I have to fight through this again.
Yeah, it is awful, especially because it hinders movement.
Yeah, tell me about the movement.
So in Splatoon, you've got your regular form of movement, running around. There's nothing particularly special about that.
It's pretty slow.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's when you are running through an enemy color of ink, you're automatically losing health as that's happening.
Little by little.
Yeah, little by little. It's you're unlikely to die from that.
Yeah.
But like, you are losing health teensy bits at a time. But you're also slowed down.
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of like you're walking through mud.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just had like sudden flashbacks to stick in the mud in primary school. Yeah. Man, I miss school.
That makes one of us.
Parts of it.
Yeah, parts of it.
Yeah. So yeah, not only does having control of the stage mean that you're, winning the game, it also means that, your opponents are hindered a great deal. But as well as that, your movement is able to be sped up like crazy through your own color.
Yeah.
So you can press a button and your kid character turns into a squid character and swims through your own color of ink.
Yeah. And they swim pretty quick.
They swim quick.
And it also recovers your ammo supply.
Yes. So whenever you're shooting, you're using up your ink tank. That's a nice visual indicator on the back without being like an ammo indicator in the HUD or anything.
Yeah.
You can always see it on the back of your character because you're in third person. And when you swim through the ink, it fills that up again. In which case it does bring up like a little HUD thing to let you know how filled it is, because you're a squid at that point. You can't see it. Yeah. You're also hidden while you're swimming in your own ink.
Yeah, you can stay still.
Yeah.
And be like almost completely invisible. Which is so good for ambushes. Like, if you know your opponent's going to be coming around the corner, you can like hide inside a tricky spot and then get them from behind.
It's actually almost better to like hide around a corner, like when you're being followed, and just stop. Than it is to try and run away.
That's what because I usually play the roller, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, that's really good for just like close quarters combat. So if I'm being followed, that's what I'll do. Duck around the corner and then be like ambush.
I'm a jeweler.
The dual ones, yeah. Very good.
I just like the dodge roll.
Yeah, dodge roll's awesome.
I never use it, but I like it.
It's cool, that's it. And when you're talking about like the squid form, you can't shoot. You can't attack people.
I hadn't even thought about that. Like, I've never even tried, but obviously you can't.
No, you can't. And there's it's not a long animation, but it's like, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a number here. It's probably like 60 frames or something. A 60 frame animation of like going
60 frames would be like a second.
Yeah.
It's less than a second.
Like 30 frames then. Of turning from like squid into the kid again.
Yeah.
And that's before you can start shooting. So yeah, you can see like, it's enough that you can have a visual reaction. Like if you see them suddenly appear and be turning into a kid again, you can like register what's happening and be able to like.
And you are very vulnerable as the squid as well.
Yeah, yeah. Like, you can be hard to see if you're not moving. If you are moving, like, it's not as obvious as the kid, but it's still, if there's a squid swimming towards me.
Yeah, you can see the splash of paint. Yeah.
And it's always so funny because you can you don't even have to try to shoot it. You can just shoot a line, so it can't. It
hinders movement, right?
Because as soon as it hits it, it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And it's like getting damaged, and they have to like turn back into a kid to get out of there. So yeah, that's always really good. And again, that's stage control.
It is.
That's stage control.
It is genuine. Like the way that every mechanic in this ties into basically just how much control everyone has over each other is so good. It's so good.
Like, it is so smart because it's the aim of the game is stage control, like literally. The PvP aspect is about, again, stage control, because if you kill them, it gives you a little bit more, that little explosion on the field. It kind of covers that bit, but more importantly, it lets you push forward. The movement is tied to the stage control, everything is. And I actually really like that because it with Turf War, it kind of invites all skill levels. If you're not very good at shooting games,
I am not,
and you don't and then you're not good at like hitting your opponent, that's okay. You can just shoot at the floor. Because that's literally what this game is. Shoot at the floor. Just shoot wherever.
So I was playing just before you arrived to this recording session today. And yeah, legitimately, I spent most of the time shooting the floor. The best part is your special that you get is based on how much of your ink is currently covering the stage.
Yeah.
Or more accurately, how much of your ink has been used to cover the stage.
Yeah.
I don't think it goes down if someone covers your stuff.
No. And it's just your specific one. Not like the team. But yeah, every character, every weapon has a specific special attack. And more often than not, those are more PvP focused.
Yes, in the way that we were discussing before, that eliminating a whole bunch of people at once means your team now has the opportunity to push. So,
but a lot do also ink the floor.
In various places. I think I actually have the least inky one equipped most of the time. I have the
Is that the debuff one, or where they like show where your opponent is?
Oh no, I forgot about that one. The rocket launcher.
Oh, okay,
because you see where they are anyway.
Yeah, you do with the target.
Yeah. I think tying your special to how much you are doing for stage control, for the objective of the game, rather than to killing enemies, is a really clever method of doing this.
And I don't think any of these specials are specifically overpowered. It's not like, someone gets a special, this turns the tide of the battle. It can, but it's not far from a guarantee.
Honestly, very rarely I even hit with the rocket launcher, and it's a lock-on thing.
Yeah, it just kind of changes the dynamic of the match as it goes on. And I think it's really good because if the special wasn't there, I think that the game would feel a little bit more mindless.
Yeah.
But because you're watching your bar fill up and you're like, okay, I know, obviously I'm getting turf, I'm getting the ground for my team so we can win. But I'm also getting this personal achievement of
Well, it also provides a ton of balance too. If your team is flattening the other team, you can't get your specials.
Yeah.
Because
you have to be covering new ground.
Yeah, you have to be covering new ground. You can keep taking out your opponents, but that doesn't increase your special bar at all. So literally, the losing team has the better chance of turning a tide of battle.
Yeah.
Because they're the only ones that are really able to get specials properly.
Yeah, because if you're surrounded by your opponent's color and you're pinned down, once you start getting just covering that color, you just get your special straight away.
Exactly.
It's really good. It's really smart. Really smart. Yeah, I think that the game would suffer quite a lot if you didn't have the specials. I think it's something that you don't realize until it's gone. I think if they took
looking at the trailer for 3 and seeing the new specials that are in that, it got me so hyped.
Well, yeah, that trailer that you're talking about, that pretty much was about the specials. Yeah, that was absolutely the crown jewel of that trailer.
I will probably finish this recording session here and go back and watch it again.
Yeah. I was showing it to my boys.
Of course.
Just earlier tonight.
Amazing. So we've touched on it slightly. Classes.
Yeah, it's really interesting because this isn't specifically a class-based game.
No,
but you have one weapon per thingy. It's not like you have a match and then you can cycle between weapons. It's no, you go into a match and you have you have your roll, or you've got your sniper rifle, you've got your whatever. That's what you're stuck with, and each hold a really specific place, almost like a class system, right? So I find that the sniper rifles are more PvP focused, where the sniper rifles are about long range turf control or just straight up killing people. Stuff like the roller, I feel like that's very much a support type of role.
So I actually disagree on the sniper rifle.
Yeah, the sniper rifle, even as they're saying that, I'm the sniper rifle's in a weird spot.
Yeah. So when I was playing, what I tended to use it for was to create a path for teammates to get to the middle straight away.
Yeah, which is still very support focused.
Yeah, because if you take the middle, if your team is able to take and hold the middle, chances are you will win the game.
Yeah, because you want to be in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, you need to hold the middle. It's taking the middle and holding the middle. Because you can push past that, but chances are if you've pushed past it, they've they've broken your offensive line and taking your territory right behind you. So taking and holding the middle, I feel like is like the aim of the game. And that's where I've been most successful is doing that sort of stuff. And snipers, because they're able to charge up a shot and just create this long line of your team's ink color, mean you can get your teammates who are able to be more offensive focused into the middle straight away, and then like you and maybe one other person can like, it's probably the wrong word because you're doing the opposite of it, but mop up the area that you're need to cover the ground for. And that's actually really important as well. Always ink your home base.
Yes. Oh my goodness. The amount of times that I've seen a game
lost.
Yeah, because they just have this big blind spot. They haven't done their own base.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I do. But I play the roller, so I play like a really support class. So like I literally just run around just like covering everything.
Yeah.
And then just watch as my like special goes right up, do my special, and then just go straight back to it. I'm that guy. If I see like a melee or a fray or whatever happening, I'll come around the side, like intentionally come all the way around the side and try to like sneak up behind them just to like disrupt it all.
You're a monster.
Well, that's what my class is for.
No, it's absolutely the right thing to do, but you're a monster.
Yeah, and this is, I think my issue with shooters typically is that it's not, there's no psychology. It's just
it's mindless shooting.
It's so mindless shooting, and like it's so reaction focused rather than there's some like really minor like psychological stuff you can do, but things like Splatoon and even Battlefield. I don't know about the current Battlefields, but like looking back at like Battlefield 3 and 1942 and stuff, like you could play just your own wild game and still have an impact to make it work.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially with like destructible terrain and stuff in Bad Company and things. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't played any of the current ones, so I don't know if that's all applicable. But yeah, I always love that. And I've always enjoyed the support class, so it's good to see Splatoon embrace the support class. So you say you play the dual...
they're literally called dualies, I think.
Dualies, I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, dualies, duelers, something or other. Yeah. Which you would think would be a more offensive class, but genuinely, I still just use it to cover territory and be in the back line. I mainly have it because it has the dodge.
Yeah.
So that, like, someone starts shooting at me, dodge out of the way, dodge out of the way, dodge out of the way, and run. That's what it is. And then I can, like, circle back around and do the same thing you do, take them out from behind.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work. In fact, most of the time it doesn't. But, like, I just suck at shooters, so that's fine.
Hey, well, if you shoot in the ground, then you're helping the team.
It is one of the rare games where that is the truth. Yeah. Look, I can't shoot the ground in Halo.
It doesn't really do a whole lot, does it?
Nah, on occasion. Depends on what you're using, but,
Rocket launcher, just kill yourself.
Oh, that sounds like you're telling me to.
No, I did. So we talked a lot about Turf War, and that is like, the main mode, but there are other modes for the multiplayer as well.
Yeah, like they have ranked, which is tower control.
Yeah, there's a few. I think there's a few for ranked, and they kind of cycle through.
Is it? Okay, cool. I legitimately just do not play ranked at all.
Yeah. Some of them are okay. Like, they've got King of the Hill. I think it's called, like, Splat Zones. And it's an interesting take on it because you don't have to physically be in the zone.
But it does have to be covered in your ink?
It has to be covered in your ink.
Nice.
And I'm pretty sure they'll always have more than one. I think there'll be, like, at least two.
I think there's, like, 3 when you're playing Halo, so that's...
Yeah, stuff like that. And I think that's really cool. I think it works well on this because you can be getting the hill from very far away. Like, you can be a sniper and find, like, a really good spot and be getting the hill, like, from ages away because you just, like, keep covering it with your ink. I think that's cool. Some of the other ones I think are a bit average. I don't think Rainmaker's that good. It's kind of like Capture the Flag, except the flag can be like a super weapon.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's like,
I remember that one. Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Clan Blitz is like bad, just straight up. Let's talk about that one. I find tower control really interesting. How do you best describe this? It's like there's a tower. This one you do physically need to be standing on it. There's this little platform.
But it's like floating in the air?
Yeah, it's like a floating one. Yeah. So it's like not the easiest to get to. So there's this like little thing. And it's like quite a small little area. And as you stand on it, it moves.
Towards like the opponent's space or something like that?
Yeah, towards the opponent.
Yeah.
And you have to like, it moves pretty slowly. And it like automatically moves. And you just have to get to that base.
Yeah.
And there's like a few like checkpoints. So you like reach it and then like the tower will stop for a moment. And it like breaks down this like meter. And while that meter's gone, that checkpoint won't be an issue for the rest of the game.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't know about that. That's actually...
I actually really, really enjoy tower control just because it can be so chaotic. And there are times where you're so close to losing and then you can just like pull it all the way back.
Nice.
It's really fun.
It sounds like... I'm pretty sure Overwatch has a similar mode called Escort or something like that where you literally have to escort a tank or a vehicle or something into the opponent's base. Style thing, or maybe back to your own. I'm not entirely sure.
I really should play Overwatch. I think I'd enjoy it.
It's Activision. I refuse to do anything with them anymore.
Well, in theory, it should just all be moved to Game Pass in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would not be surprised to see Overwatch 2 come straight to Game Pass.
Yeah, okay. I think I might just wait for that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good. But yeah, those are definitely like the side modes sort of things.
Yeah. I will say, it did feel a little today like your internet connection matters like a lot more than in other shooters. And this is just the Nintendo effect, I think. Because I don't know what type of hit registration Splatoon 2 has.
It's bad sometimes.
But it's not great. But like since moving to this place, I have great internet now. Like amazing internet. I found myself winning most, like, not necessarily most games because it's a team shooter. Everyone needs to put in for it. But most encounters,
nice.
I found myself on top of that quite well because, hits were registering a lot quicker than my opponents were. So
I found the opposite on Splatoon 1. So my internet was awful back then. Like my house couldn't even get NBN. So I would play, but because I was so laggy to everyone else, it gave me a huge advantage. Because they would shoot. They'd be shooting at the wrong spot because they think I'm still there. And I don't know, it was like this really wacky thing. And I was able to kill them and they weren't able to kill me as easily.
Oh my gosh.
But then Nintendo rightfully on one of the patches kind of raised the minimum internet requirement. So I actually couldn't play for a while. Because my internet was literally too slow. They're like, nah, your internet's too slow. You can't play anymore.
That's amazing. I do remember when Splatoon 2 came out, taking the Switch to uni and trying to like tether it to my phone to play matches that way because I was so obsessed with it when it came out. It did not go well.
Yeah,
it did not go well. Yeah. Like I said, you definitely need decent internet to actually stand a chance here.
Most of it,
yeah. Excuse me.
Let's talk about Salmon Run.
Well, just quickly, like you mentioned the classes and the weapons before. So. Yeah, I think it is rare in shooters for you to not just be able to choose each aspect of your character. So like here's your weapon, here's your grenade, here's your special. You in another shooter you would get to choose all three. Whereas in Splatoon 2 they come in sets. You will probably primarily focus on what weapon it is that you're getting. But the grenade and the special that come with it are set to that weapon in particular.
And there's usually enough variations that, like, if you want a certain trio, you'll be able to find it. You just need to find it within the weapon.
I actually think it's a really smart way on Nintendo's part to not allow any class to get OP.
Well, yeah, because it balances it. It forces it.
Yeah,
if there was a magic combination,
exactly,
then it stops that.
And yeah, it being words, Nintendo being able to control which ones anyone has access to just means the meta doesn't like get out of hand, and it means they can change it by introducing a new set.
Yeah,
which
they did. Yeah,
really clever.
I remember there were times when like some sets were just like ridiculous, and then they would introduce like. I remember they introduced like the washing machine thing, which is like the scourge.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the washing machine.
Like that thing, I've died so many times to it. But yeah, it was like the meta was getting like really focused around like a certain like few things, and then they just introduced a whole new weapon, and then like it just scattered, like it just the meta just like split again. It was so fun to watch,
and it's actually one of those really interesting things about Nintendo, like. People will complain about how they handle things a lot, but this tight control over their multiplayer, like they do with Pokemon, like they do with Smash, it means they have a lot of control over how the meta plays.
Like they always have a vision. They always have a very specific vision.
Yeah.
And like, it's not always like perfect.
No.
But I admire that idea. I've always enjoyed like the idea of a director saying like this is my vision for the game.
Yeah.
Like, we can leave it open so other people can enjoy it how they want, but this is my intention of how it's to be played.
Yeah. Yeah, I love all of it. Oh my gosh, I just love all of this game.
This game's
the other thing that I wanted to bring up is clothes. So obviously fashion we've discussed as a gushing about this game type thing. But your clothes actually come with buffs.
Yeah, there's like small buffs attached to them.
Yeah. So more valuable clothing has more buffs. It's not just bam, you have money, therefore you get all of the buffs either, though. As you're playing, you actually unlock them, like you roulette new buffs onto the clothing with experience. Which is a painful way to do it, but you can grind it out to change the buffs to customize your classes as well, which is really good.
Yeah, there is a way to get like any clothing to any slots that you want, but it takes a long ass time.
It does. It really does.
And it's interesting because like on the base idea, like let's say there's like just looking at the shirts, you get a cheap shirt and it has like one item slot or one stat slot rather. And then the more expensive ones have like 3 stat slots, and that's kind of how they distinguish, the worth of something. But like as we said, there's ways that you can like even take a 1 stat slot and turn it into a 3, and then be able to put whatever you want on it. And so if you really like how it looks,
I was about to say, I genuinely would focus on how it looked more than anything else, and then just like do whatever I had to do to get what I needed onto that item instead.
Because the stat boosts are pretty minor, to be honest.
I didn't even take notice of them most of the time. I just really, really, really wanted my inkling to look cool.
Yeah.
Fresh.
I was the same. I always loved just like going to the shop and being like, oh, these clothes look great. And then, I'd play a bit so I unlocked the 3 stat things from, and then I just move on to the next one. I never got too attached. I was always mixing it up.
It just makes me want to be in Shibuya all over again.
Yeah, very, very trendy.
Oh my gosh. It's Shibuya 109. Let's go right now.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I'm going to mix up my Splatoon games. Which one is based off Shibuya? Is it 1 or 2? It's a 1, isn't it? And
I think number 1, yeah. Sounds right.
Yeah. I always blur the 2 games in my mind.
Like my brain is telling me that 2 was in Yokohama, but I might even be thinking of Yakuza.
Yeah, you might be thinking of Yakuza.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because like if someone asked me what my setup was, I'd always say like, oh yeah, I use the roller, and my special is the Kraken. The Kraken isn't even in Splatoon 2. The Kraken is in Splatoon 1. I'm just talking about that one. I don't even remember what my special is in Splatoon 2. But let's talk about Salmon Run, which was one of the biggest additions in this game.
Yeah, it was the reason to buy Splatoon 2 over why did we release a Splatoon 2 and not just a Splatoon 1 for Switch?
Yeah, this was...
Salmon Run.
This was the thing. So tell me about Salmon Run. This is something you and I both thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, man. I was so cut when you told me you hadn't installed it. I was like, oh, man, I just really want to play. I'm jonesing for the Salmon Run.
Game's too fat.
So Salmon Run is, it's team-based. It is a wave mode shooter where the objective isn't so much to survive as it is to survive and collect golden eggs. The more golden eggs you collect, the more you get paid in experience.
Yeah.
Which is a weird concept. But yeah, there's so much more to it than just that.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard one to explain because it's the four of you versus enemies.
Yeah. Bosses.
And bosses, a big variety of enemies, and they all have different attacks, and some have better certain weapons are better against them than others, and that sort of stuff.
But you don't get to choose your weapons, do you?
No, you don't. So there's no double up in weapons, is there?
No, there might be. I don't know.
So
but there's always a set of 4 weapons that across the 3 rounds you will get randomly assigned to those.
Yeah, so it kind of rotates through.
Yeah.
So which I actually really like because it does force you to get a bit familiar with them.
With every weapon, yeah.
Because I never liked the sniper rifle. I never liked the charger.
Whenever I see that pop up, I'm just like, this is going to be a bad round.
Yeah, it's still probably my least favorite, but I've gotten so much better at it. I've kind of understood its place because of that. Because again, there's certain enemies which the charger is really, really good against. I can't think of any, but there are.
I can think of the bomb dude, the one who spawns the bombs out of the top of his head.
It's really, really good against him.
All right, cool.
But yeah, I really like that.
And I imagine the salmon as well, whatever that thing is, the one that pops up out of the ground like Jaws.
Yeah, I was just drop a bomb.
Oh yeah, I never have enough ink for a bomb ever. So,
but it's really fun. It's it's a little bit like the Call of Duty Zombies modes, how it's just it starts off pretty simple, but by the end, it just ratchets it up with the intensity so much that you're just there's just things coming for me everywhere.
Everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere. It really helps to talk to each other with that game.
The round, the waves can be different as well.
Yeah. Lots of modifiers as well. Sometimes the water's really high.
Yes, yeah. So the stage changes water height between levels. Obviously, you having inked enough ground to be able to get around is a big part of it as well. The stage that I was playing just before had the ink railways.
Oh, those are cool.
On it, yeah. So I actually found it was way more useful to try and use those to get around because the ground is just going to be covered in
all sorts of colors.
Yeah, and
usually the opponents.
Yeah, just because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So they leave trails of their color behind them as they're going rather than having to shoot. And then on top of that, you've got the boss ones just covering the ground everywhere. It is true insanity. What is your favorite wave?
Oh man, I don't know. There's one that I always remember just because I'm pretty good against it, but that's the more zombie type of one.
Yeah.
Where it designates one person.
Yep, one person.
And then there's just these super fast zombie guys that just run straight after that one person.
Yep. And it will change between
it'll kind of cycle through different things. But I like that one. I think that one's fun just because it feels so different to everything else.
Yeah.
And it's it can get hectic, but you can cheese it, so it's fine.
I simultaneously love and hate the grill one. The one that looks like the UFO with the fish tails coming out of it.
Yeah.
It does the same thing where they just choose one person to go after. Yeah. But it's insanity. They're raining an entire circle of their own ink down underneath them as they move, and you can't stop them. You shoot them, and it has the potential to stall them. But if you're the only one left, you're not gonna be able to take it out before it starts moving again. It's just insanity. They drop 5 eggs.
Yeah,
those ones.
Worth it.
Yeah. But yeah, if you have two of them and they're both aimed at one person, oh lordy, lordy.
It's a big old mess.
Yeah,
I think it's really fun, and it's a good variation to everything else because like everything else is so focused on like stage control, and this one is just like just getting it done, like just holding on, just surviving as long as you can because the game is over when all four of you are dead at the same time.
Yes, you can revive each other.
By like shooting them when they're moving very slowly.
After the spawn time.
Yeah, there's a spawn time. There's a spawn time, and then there's like a little dead thing moving very slowly. So you can.
Which, by the way, can we just mention how everything in this universe is like so perfectly represented?
Oh yeah,
like you're literally a life ring.
Yeah, it's a little life ring. Yeah,
how cute is that?
Yeah.
I love that so much. And then the vendors that sell your clothes are like other sea life. And the
one that sells shoes is like he's like a shrimp or something, and he's got like
he sells food in this one.
Oh yeah, who's the one with the shoe? Yeah, there's someone, and wherever animal he is, he just has heaps of shoes.
Oh no, he was in the first one.
Oh, he was in the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But in this one, he sells the food instead. And yeah, he's like a fried shrimp. He is Ebby fried.
He's a fried shrimp. Not just a shrimp.
Not just a shrimp. He's fried. It's like battered and fried. It's so good.
It's so fun. It's just like, there's jellyfish.
Yeah, there's an anemone.
An anemone with a little like fish living in its head.
Oh my gosh, I forgot he had the fish living in his head. And the idol substitutes in this game are octopuses instead of squids.
Yeah, because they're just a little bit different. You know?
Just a little bit different.
And on the Octo expansion, you go to the deep sea because you're in the subway.
Yeah.
And there's all these like weird as like
sea cucumber.
Yeah, but like these really like weird looking alien looking things.
So good.
It's so good.
I love everything about the actual design of this game, and I can't wait for 3 so much because just seeing that the desert level when they
different.
Yeah, I was just like, where do they go?
Yeah, what is this? Like it's just so drastically different.
Yeah.
It's the creativity is just like off the charts.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that the good old Nintendo EPD whom just had a ball while making this game.
Yeah.
Like they just enjoyed throwing all their ideas together. Did you want to talk about the single player? Briefly touch on it?
On occasion. Captain Cuttlefish needs
the old fella.
Something or other. You get co-opted into being one of his agents to save one of the other agents, and I think that's the storyline for both Splatoon 1 and 2. It's been a while.
The story is kind of like whatever for me. It kind of plays like plays a lot like the Mario Galaxy games. How it's a bunch of like almost like planet, like it's not with the gravity. It's just it's just a straight 3D platformer shooter.
I'd argue more even puzzle platformer than 3D platformer.
Puzzles,
like not hard puzzles,
just like puzzles. But it's kind of like Planetoids, kind of like floating. It's very linear, but it's the classic Nintendo formula where they'll take a concept and base or a mechanic or whatever and base the entire level around.
And they'll pull everything out of it.
Yeah, they'll wring that bad boy dry.
Yeah.
Like, as much as they can.
Until they have to fill it with ink again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I actually really, really love the single player.
I do too. There's so much less to talk about in it, right?
Yeah, it's not super long, but I'm really glad it's there. I really like that type of game design that they do. So,
like, there's some cool things. Invisible platforms shoot your ink to make them visible. There's sponges that get larger when they soak up the ink.
Yeah.
There's enemies that are riding around on robo mops to cut off your
constantly.
Yeah, like things like that. There's cool stuff. It's just it is what it is.
It is actually kind of cool because this was launched very much as like a game as a service type of thing, like a live game.
Yes,
so it launched with a few maps, and then like there's a few of those like unique things like the sponges and stuff in the single player, and it was cool to see the later multiplayer maps start using some of those ideas.
Oh, really?
They start putting some of the sponges and stuff. Yeah, not to like a ridiculous scope, but like they're there. Which is cool, and some of the grind rails and stuff. It's cool. It's cool to see it, to kind of see the single player and the multiplayer kind of inform
like
each other.
converge. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's actually pretty awesome. I think invisible platforms would drive me insane if they were in multiplayer
We don't
matches.
have that one. That would
Thank
be
goodness.
excessive.
Thank goodness. But yeah, just the level of creativity on display in the platforming creation is
Wonderful.
yeah.
Wonderful.
So you said game as service before.
Yeah.
There is one thing that we haven't mentioned that I think really speaks to that game as service model.
Now, what one's that?
Splatfests.
Yes, Splatfest.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. It is on the notes.
It is. Yeah. Do you want to describe what those are?
Yeah, I was actually trying to remember like the exact specifics of it, but essentially a Splatfest is an event that goes over a weekend.
Yeah.
And you pick a side, and it's always
they pit the community against each other for
really
random things.
Yeah, it's like tomato sauce versus mustard.
Yep.
Or like
Mustard.
I'm trying to think of some other examples.
I remember ketchup versus mayo, but
Oh no, so that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Ketchup and mayo. But yeah, it's like, do you prefer this or do you prefer that? And some of it isn't like food or whatever. It's just like, do you?
I remember there was a Transformers.
Oh, there's a Transformers.
I think it was Autobots versus Decepticons
Just
thing,
really random.
which
like
is like that is super random, right?
It's
like
bizarre.
that's licensed.
Yeah.
How did Nintendo come to the table with that for Hasbro? Not Hasbro. Hasbro will like throw themselves at everyone, right?
Yeah.
But how did Nintendo go? Yeah, all right, we'll do that.
Yeah, a van for a bit. I'm going to find some Splatfest examples.
Okay, cool. Honestly, one of the favorite things I have for that is that the colors for the Splatfest are always this wonderfully, like this beautiful, opposite, very contrasting colors. The worst one, ketchup versus mayo.
Oh, the colors were gross.
The colors were awful.
They looked so gross.
But they memed online hard. The mayo looked like another white substance.
It did. It was nasty.
Yeah. I think mayo ended up winning, but I'm not sure if that was the meme because of what it looked like or because it was like each side has one of the idol girls attached to it. Yeah. And so therefore the community like kind of got behind
they gravitate to one. They're like, it doesn't matter what side she's picking, I'm picking her side.
Yep.
But it's fun because it's really playful. It like gets the community talking, and they change the visuals of like the hub area and make it like.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
make it like nighttime.
It's
fireworks and
it's so good.
It's really cool. It's just a really fun thing, and it's like at the end, you pick a side, and at the end of the weekend, they look at all the results, they look at the popularity and all stuff like that, and then they decide a winner based off that. And then the winner just gives you more experience points or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's just something really playful.
The winner doesn't matter.
No, it doesnn't.
Never does.
So I pulled up some of the options. So it's stuff like, would you prefer the power of flight or invisibility?
Hells yeah.
I was actually thinking about that exact one like the other day. Invisibility for me.
What color was the ink?
It looks like green for invisibility and purple for flight for some reason.
That's sad. The invisibility should have been clear.
That would have been awful. Just looks like water.
Oh.
And then there's ones that say, do you prefer vampires or werewolves for like Halloween? Do you like sweaters or socks more?
Sweaters, obviously.
During Christmas. And it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Just really random stuff. Do you like pulp or no pulp in your orange juice?
Oh, pulp is disgusting. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's not juice if it doesn't have pulp. It's just sugary flavored water. But like, I don't like the texture of pulp. I don't
like the texture of pulp. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like this conversation we're having now. This is the conversations that everyone's having.
Yes. It's so good. It's so good.
They would drop the topic and Twitter's just like, oh yeah, this.
Oh, it would trend for that weekend like crazy. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I thought it was just such a fun, playful thing. It fits so well with the Splatoon universe.
I cannot wait until Splatoon 3 because they finished the Splatfests. They wrapped them up and called it a day. Presumably so that they could brainstorm a whole bunch of new ones for when Splatoon 3 comes out.
Well, it's actually interesting because the last Splatfest for Splatoon 1 was you had to pick between the idols.
Yes.
Too,
yeah.
Which was like, that's the big one.
Yeah.
They finally made you do that.
I can't even remember who the idols were in the first one. Callie and Mari?
Yeah, they were more like similar looking. And it was like whichever of the girls won, that was the one that ended up being kidnapped in the Splatoon 2 story.
Right.
So people were like, oh, maybe they, that was part of it. And the last one for Splatoon 2 was Order versus Chaos. I can't remember who won, but people are theorizing that might tie into like the Splatoon 3 story.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Maybe the World of Chaos, World of Order. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's fun. But I do like the idea of like actually pitting the two idols against each other because the internet is full of...
Can't agree.
It's full of a lot of weird people that get very passionate about...
Very passionate.
I mean,
there's clearly there's a clear winner for the Splatoon 2.
Oh, absolutely. It's not Pearl.
No.
The answer is whoever Pearl is against.
Yeah.
But I did actually really like Marina. I don't know. I don't know how you pronounce it. I thought she was awesome.
Yeah.
Even though she was actually one of the bad guys.
What?
Because she was a thingy.
Oh, right. I was like, wait, is that spoilers? I finished single player. What?
No, she was reformed. But
yeah.
I just thought it was really funny. I thought it was very progressive of the Splatoon universe to accept her as she is.
I don't understand. Reformed suggests that...
No, she's not really reformed, no.
All octopuses are bad people, and therefore it's not racist to assume that they're bad.
Maybe reform wasn't the choice of words. Anyway,
racism exists in the Splatoon universe, guys.
So, shall I wrap this one up?
I think so. I think we've talked enough about random things. I feel like there was something else. There was one other thing. Oh, the cats.
Oh, yes.
How did we not mention the cats?
I think this is such a cute way. So this is for Turf War and stuff.
Yeah.
So at the end, there'll be the countdown. The music will get all hyped for the last 30 seconds, and it'll stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see you'll see the overview, you'll see the map, and you'll see the ink.
And it doesn't tell you who's won yet.
And for a few seconds in your head, you'd be like, is it this one? Is it that one?
You're just sort of like pseudo-mathematically going, that's about 60%.
Right. Right. And to the extent that became like a game in WarioWare in the future.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like, who won between these? And then you'll get these two cats, Judd and Mini Judd.
Yep.
Which
I think I have a plush for Judd somewhere.
And they count it up, and then they hold up a flag for like the winners. And it's funny because it's always called the good guys versus the bad guys.
Yes, no matter which side you're on.
No matter what side, no matter who you are, what color
you're always the good guys.
You're always the good guys, and you're always trying to beat the bad guys.
I love that. It's such a a kid thing, right?
It's so playful.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah. So 2 more things that I forgot. The last minute. The stages do different things in the last minute as well.
Like Camp Triggerfish.
I don't think some of them change. I think all of them change in some way.
Yeah, maybe.
Things just move.
Yeah, some of them start moving.
Yeah.
Camp Triggerfish is the big one. How this access just opens up.
Yes.
You could always go to this area, but
now the other team can get there
straight from your base.
Yeah.
Which really changes the dynamic.
Exactly. So that last minute, and the fact that there's such short games as well.
Yeah, usually 3 minutes.
And then as well as that, remember how the Wii U had that community thing? What was
Miiverse.
Miiverse.
Yeah, how you could draw.
Yes. Yeah. First of all, God, I miss Miiverse.
Miiverse was really good.
It really should still have been around on the Switch. I don't know why they got rid of it.
I actually got quite into Miiverse, and I'd be the one that'd be going on there and just commenting on people's things, and just really, really enjoying it.
It had the potential to be the meta, like the what everyone is trying to get now. What do we call them? Literally metaverses? I don't know.
I'm not sure. So
you know how Facebook is trying to do the metaverse
and its own community thing.
Yeah,
it's a place where everyone can.
Well, where all the communities combine.
Yeah,
Reddit is already a metaverse, obviously.
Yeah.
But Fortnite is the metaverse that everyone's pointing to.
Yeah.
Miiverse actually had the potential to be that. It just, I think it was around at the wrong time.
Well, it's around on the wrong console.
That too.
No one cared about the Wii.
That too. But yeah, so because we don't have Miiverse anymore on the Switch, Splatoon 2 just put its own
just a drawing app
in Splatoon.
Yeah.
And literally anyone can draw things so that when you're in the hub area, everyone that you walk around to,
and stuff.
I love it.
And they can just like talk about it. But yeah, you can see it on like billboards
and you can like it and things, and you can like what they're wearing as well. And you can like go talk to someone to buy what they're wearing. That's what I was
going to say. I love your outfit. I can order that myself now.
Yep. Oh my gosh. So just so many smart,
just so many
quality of life things.
Just so many like fun, playful ideas, like things that don't need to be in there. Like as we mentioned at the top of this episode, like there's a little rhythm game in there. Like why? Just for fun.
Because why not?
It's like it's you want to listen to the soundtrack, you can do that, and also you can interact with the soundtrack if you just want to like, have it playing.
Actually, loading screens. When you press like any buttons on your controller during your loading screens, it does the little different keys. So you could potentially just do I would not be surprised to find there's an app out there that simulates doing the same thing. Just for Splatoon noises.
You can play like Ocarina of Time songs. Like if you learn the inputs,
you could play Linkin Park songs if you learn the inputs. Like anything. Oh my gosh! Just everything about this game. None of that adds to the main core mechanics.
But it's just so much like creativity just overflowing. Yeah, it's so great.
It's Nintendo EPD for you, apparently.
Yeah. So to kind of like wrap it all up, I think that like Splatoon like takes this concept which has existed in shooters for a long time of like stage control, and they find I think Splatoon just finds such a creative way to lean into stage control in such a unique way that no other games were really doing. And they take that core concept of stage control, tie it to movement, completely change how PvP works, makes it accessible for all skill levels. I think that it's the systems that it has are just brilliant.
Yeah, agreed.
Ties into the world and the story perfectly.
Oh my gosh, yes. The fact that every system ties into stage control in such a perfect and well-considered way as well. Just, again, chef's kiss. I've done that already way too many times during this episode. No, this is another one.
I know that we pretty much only choose the good games. We pretty much only choose the games with good systems. But yet again, we have one with just brilliant systems.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the thing. We want to dig into good systems. If you talk about a game that's like got bad systems, what can we say other than, this is bad?
Yeah, that's something that we've discussed previously. We actually want to do bad games, but all the bad games are usually bad because of technical reasons.
Well, there's that, but like bad games are bad because their systems don't integrate.
Yeah, and the systems aren't like necessarily bad; they're just like horribly
implemented,
average.
Yes,
aggressively mediocre. There's just not much to it.
I think there's probably. See, I was gonna say like we could talk about Persona 5. I love Persona 5, but its systems are...
I haven't played Persona 5. That sounds like a bit of a time commitment.
No, and then that's it. Like, that's 110 hours.
Yeah, that's a big ass. That's a fat boy game, right?
It is a fat boy game. But, like, the systems exist and they tie in together, but, like, you could definitely argue they also stand well apart from each other. And it's kind of... there's not.
This doesn't tie together properly.
Yeah.
And like there have been systems in the past where we've talked about like how they could have implemented them better, and like the Resident Evil episode where we talked about adaptive difficulty and kind of like brainstormed our own stuff there. But yeah, I would love to find some more examples of that, of ways where we can take something that exists and you and I can kind of brainstorm ways that it could exist better. So if anyone out there is listening, comment away with any.
Yeah, I was about to say, bring that engagement.
Yes.
Yeah, like, subscribe, and comment. Push that algorithm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, specifically tell us what not-so-great game with not-so-great systems we could play, and it would still be interesting.
Give us something that will make us hate it.
Oh, don't say that.
Ones that will get real mad. Not because they're hard, but just because they just don't come together.
So not Elden Ring. Nobody suggests Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's a hard game. That's different.
It's a very hard game. Anyway, what are we talking about next time?
So next time we're going to be going in again a very different direction. We're going to be talking about Life is Strange: True Colors, which being a like Telltale adventure style adventure game, is very flimsy when it comes to gameplay. So it's going to be interesting to see. I should say flimsy. Flimsy isn't.
No, but light.
Light. Very light with actual gameplay.
And I think this is probably the closest we'll get to, like, we'll have gotten to not having many systems to talk through, right?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting because when you don't have many systems, they've got to be good. Because if they're not good, if they're not pulling their weight, it's going to really be noticed. So we're going to be diving into that one next time. I'm quite looking forward to it because I'm a big fan of the narrative games.
Which, that is not something I get off of you, to be
honest.
am
a mess.
Yeah.
I think shooters are awful, but love Splatoon and Battlefield.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
What is wrong with you? All right, that's it. We're out. Have a good night.
See you next time.